Banana Box 2019 for Mac is here. We've been busy and added over 64 exciting new features and an amazing collection of new content, including new RealTracks with great new funk styles, blues styles, gospel vocal world styles, and lots more RealTracks that we'll look at in more detail later. There are new MIDI super tracks, instrumental studies. There's a new set of Celtic flute artist performances. There are low man and reamped 12-key metal thrash electric guitar RealTracks, RealDrums transcriptions, and more. We also have bonus packs with 40 RealTracks in addition to the 202 new RealTracks, so in total, an amazing 242 new RealTracks are available. In addition, there are over 250 new RealStyles that use the new RealTracks. These include new blues horn sections, Pickin soloists from Nashville legend Johnny Highland, and many more. Plus, we've made 2 new extra styles packs, 6 and 7, with over 300 extra styles. There are many exciting new features in Banana Box 2019. First off is our brand new 64-bit version of Banana Box, which works with the latest plugins and 64-bit OS features. We've also made and include a 64-bit VST, AU, and AAX plugin of Banana Box, which you can use inside your favorite DAW, like GarageBand, Logic, Pro Tools, and more, to generate styles, RealTracks, RealDrums, multi-riffs, and more. We have various dedicated plugin videos available on our website with great demonstrations in a variety of DAWs, both short quick start tutorials as well as longer in-depth videos. And we'll also check out the plugin in more detail later in this video as well. There's a completely redesigned SongPicker which shows information for up to 50,000 songs and has useful filter and search features, including search by chord progression or melodic phrase. We've added advanced filters to help with searches for RealTracks, RealDrums, and MIDI super tracks. These include search by feel, time signature, tempo, real charts, and more. You can now control the loudness of each RealTrack in the medley, opening up the possibility of having many great sounding RealTracks playing as an ensemble on a single track. Notation enhancements include drum notation, drums real charts with transcriptions of some of the RealDrums, quick entry of forced accidentals, and more. We've added 300 more song titles to the song titles browser. The Melodist now uses RealStyles to generate chords and melodies. Audio harmonies are enhanced with the Banana Box Harmony engine, providing sophisticated harmonies with passing tones to your audio track. And there are many more great new features. We'll look at these features in more detail later, but first we'll check out some of the amazing new RealTracks and RealDrums added in Banana Box 2019. Right now we're listening to a RealStyle that features some of our exciting new funk RealTracks and RealDrums. These new modern funk RealTracks were made with guitarists Bob Lanzetti and Mark Lettieri and drummer Spud Searight, who are all part of some of the most exciting funk and world music projects coming out of New York, and they are now available in a variety of Banana Box styles. And they're joined here by a RealTrack style made with legendary bassist Alex Al in another brand new funk bass style, and one of our older electric piano RealTracks. If you're new to Banana Box, I'll give you a brief introduction. Banana Box is an auto accompaniment program that allows you to type in any chord progression in any key, and it generates backing tracks for you. This is an amazing tool for practicing, songwriting, composing, teaching, and music production. And that's what you're hearing right now. Everything you're hearing here was created simply by typing in these chords, picking this style, setting the tempo, and pressing play. Banana Box then did everything. and you can enter any chord progression in any key. I'll highlight this by making a couple of changes to this chord chart. I'll completely change the chords in the first 8 bars. And I'll change the key of the whole song to E flat. And I'll increase the tempo to 112 beats per minute. And now you can see that it's playing over our new progression in a completely different key, and it still sounds fabulous. Let's have a look at some of the other amazing new content in Band-in-a-Box. The Jazz, Blues, Funk, and Latin collection this year contains an amazing assortment of legendary musicians. We've added more drums and percussion from the great Alex Acuna, well known as the drummer for Weather Report, and many other seminal fusion groups. And alongside master guitarist Ramon Stagnero, there are Brazilian Bossa and Samba styles, as well as many more Latin American styles with RealTracks firsts, such as Bajo Sexto, a Mexican stringed instrument. Alex and Ramon are also featured on the requested Rumba Flamenca styles. There are new fiery harmonica soloists from L.D. Miller, who won first runner-up on the first season of America's Got Talent with his incredible harmonica performances. We have wonderful new blues, rhythm, and soloist guitars from blues master Saul Philcox. We have new funky acoustic guitar styles from Colin Linden and Joe Robinson. There are also new djembe and other percussion styles from master percussionist Keita Ogawa. There are tango styles, modern jazz waltz drums, and to top it off, we've added to our collection of horn section styles with some great growly blues horns. We have 70 new beautiful pop, rock, and world styles. Perennial favorite Brent Mason has recorded some superb new pop soloists on both electric and acoustic guitar. We also have wonderfully spacey, cinematic electric guitar from Darren Favorite. And we have lovely new 12-string and 6-string Campfire acoustic folk styles. There are new pop rock pedal steel RealTracks with a modern edge from Nashville great Eddie Dunlap. There's a set of laid-back singer-songwriter guitar and piano. And there are new Klezmer and European styles. And we have 72 new country, Americana, and Celtic RealTracks. With Band-in-a-Box 2019, we're introducing an amazing new RealTracks guitar artist, Johnny Highland, with some stunning chicken pickin' soloists. We've also expanded our collection of Americana RealTracks with some of Nashville's top players. We've added to our collection of Celtic styles with another RealTracks first, Celtic Cellos by Natalie Haas. Also on the Celtic front, we have new 12-string and nylon guitar styles from Quinn Bachand, which utilize another RealTracks first, DADGAD guitar tuning. And for the icing on the cake with our country, Americana, and Celtic RealTracks, we've added a new background vocal RealTracks style with gospel vocals, which can be chosen as an ensemble or different combinations of the different voices that make up the whole style. So now we're going to get into the new features of the program itself. As we saw earlier, one of the most exciting new developments is the 64-bit version of Band in a Box. This is one of the biggest things our users have been asking for. This has the newest features of Band in a Box 2019 and is a modern 64-bit audio app. This means it can use the latest audio drivers and plugins that are designed for the 64-bit audio engine on your Mac OS. And there is also now a 64-bit Band in a Box VST, AU, and AAX DAW plugin included. The Band in a Box DAW plugin is separate from the Band in a Box application and works directly inside your favorite DAW, such as GarageBand, Logic, Pro Tools, Reaper, or pretty much any DAW that supports VST, AU, or AAX plugins. The plugin uses the content, such as the RealTracks, the styles, etc., that are present in your Band in a Box folder to generate audio or MIDI tracks that you can drag and drop from the plugin into your DAW. We have separate videos that go into more detail about this amazing new feature, which you can view on our website, pgmusic.com, but I'll demonstrate it a little bit here. I'm going to use it here in GarageBand, but for the most part, everything I do in here will be the same or very similar as in other DAWs like Logic, Pro Tools, etc. And I'm going to use it to add tracks to something I've already recorded. But of course, you can also use it to create tracks in a brand new empty project as well. So in GarageBand, I've got a couple of tracks recorded. The old folk song, O Shenandoah, sung by the very talented Beatrix Mete. It was recorded to a click at 87 beats per minute, and we recorded a simple guitar part first, and she sung a melody track, and then added a harmony track on top of that.
Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you away, you're all away.
So I'd like to add some Band in a Box tracks to that. So I can add the Band in a Box plugin first by adding a software instrument track, by control-clicking in this empty area. This by default puts in a GarageBand electric piano, but I can change that here to the Band in a Box plugin. I'll change the tempo in the plugin to 87 to match the session. And there are 2 bars of silence at the beginning of this file, so I'll leave lead-in selected. So now I'll just start typing in the chords that the guitarist played. C, E minor, F, C, C7. I'll skip ahead in the video until the whole thing's done. So the whole thing is now typed in, and now just like in Band in a Box, we can pick a style. So here's the list of all the possible styles we can choose from. And you can see there's over 6,000 to choose from. So the best thing to do is filter. Our song is 87 beats per minute, so I'll filter by a close tempo, 85. And it's even eighths, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, so I'll filter by that. And I know there are some really cool new Americana styles, so I'll just type in Americana in the text filter as well. And I'll try a few of these out. And I really like this one, and it was recorded at 70 beats per minute, so not too far from 87. So I'll try that one. So that style is now loaded and displays here. And I've got the tempo and the chords all set and entered, so now I can just generate the parts. It shows me in this timeline the progress of the creation of these tracks. It does take a little while to generate all of these parts, so I'll skip ahead just a bit. So it took less than a minute to create all of these tracks. These icons have now changed and are colored in with little waveforms, which mean these are ready. Now there are two ways we can use these tracks. Firstly, we can have them play directly from the plugin along with the tracks by double-clicking the waveform icons to turn them blue, which activates them from the plugin. So now when I press play in GarageBand, I'm hearing this style we selected playing along with the tracks we already had. I'll turn off the click and mute the guitar that was there previously, so we're only hearing the vocals over all these new Band in a Box tracks. The other way you can use these tracks is to actually drag them into the DAW, either individually by dragging in the green waveform icons, or all at once by dragging the blue master icon. This is generally the preferred method because now you have complete editing control over the individual tracks. You can mix them, add effects, or whatever you like. So that's an example of picking an entire style with bass, drums, and other instruments and generating it to use within the DAW. But you can also generate individual instruments, such as individual RealTracks, RealDrums, loops, user tracks, or MIDI super tracks. And there are other cool features that you can use when you generate these, such as the multi-riff feature. If we were recording a musician in our studio playing a solo over this, say in this 4-bar break, a common thing to do is to get them to record several passes, and then we could pick the one we like the best or comp the different takes together to get it exactly like we wanted to. The multi-riff feature basically emulates this in that it creates multiple takes of the same reel track. So I'll do that for that 4-bar break to create a guitar solo there. So I'll select multi-riff. Now this is the RealTracks picker, distinct from the style picker we saw earlier in that this is for picking individual instruments rather than full band combos, which are the styles. Now I know there are some great new Brent Mason acoustic guitar soloists, so that might be perfect for this. So I'll use some of the new filters to just show RealTracks recorded by Brent Mason. And I'll add another filter to only show soloists, and I'll also add a text filter, Acoustic. And this one is even eighths at 65, so that could stretch up to 85. So I'll double click to sample what it sounds like. And I'll pick that one. So it's now the same reel track in 7 different slots, which is what the multi-riff does. If I use this scroll bar to go up, the style tracks are still present here, but this area is reserved for this multi-riff feature. Now these 4 bars are highlighted, but it's actually going to generate a bar before as well. This is something you can set in settings. The reason for this is that there is often a pickup leading into a bar, particularly with soloists, and this ensures that it won't be cut off. So now under Generate, I'll go Custom, and under the multi-riff section, I'll pick riffs of selected region. And I'll skip ahead in the video again. So those are done now, and like before, I can grab the blue icon and drag that into the DAW to get all of the tracks. So now we have 7 different riffs playing over that same chord progression. So I'm going to mute all except for the first one, and I'll listen to that one. right, I liked that one. I didn't like the ending here too much, but I liked all the notes leading up to it. So I'll remember that, and now I'll go and listen to the second one. Now, actually, I think I like that one better than the first one, so I'm going to keep that in mind. But now I'll listen to the third one. That one started quite late, and it was a little too bluesy for what I want here, so I'll just skip that one and listen to the fourth one. I think I still like the second one best out of all of these. I still like the second best. Now that one I kind of like the ending, so I'll keep that in mind. All right, so I think what I'm going to try is I'm going to try and keep the first part of this riff here, just up to there, and then here I will just take the ending of it and move that up to there and see how that sounds. Yeah, and actually I think that's what I'll keep. So now I can just delete the tracks that I don't like here. And now on this track, I think I'll also add some reverb and maybe even a bit of echo. And we'll see how that sounds. So I think that's now the part I'll keep for this short solo. Now, one of the great things about the plugin is it's so easy to experiment with different styles. I've kept all those tracks I made previously, but I've muted them because I'd like to try something different. If I play the vocals by themselves,
I long to see you away.
the melody line kind of floats over the whole thing, so it might not need to have even eighths or sixteenths backing it up. So I'm going to try out a style with a completely different feel and a completely different genre. I'll change up the chords, leaving the progression essentially the same, but with some jazzier chords. And I'll pick a new style. I'll filter by Jazz Ballad. And I'll sample this first one. That's a 3/4 waltz, so not ideal. So I'll sample the next one down. And yeah, I'll try that out. I'll generate these tracks, and I'll drag them in. And it's sounding nice, though the horns are getting in the way a bit. I'll get rid of them, but I'll bring them back in for that little break.
Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you away. You're rolling away.
So that's sounding lovely now. Check out the dedicated plugin videos for some of these other options and an even more in-depth look at the plugin in general, being used in a variety of different DAWs and utilizing all the various options. With Banana Box 2019, the SongPicker has been completely redesigned with many very useful new features. It can show information for up to 50,000 songs and allows you to quickly filter and select songs. You can also search songs that have similar chord progressions or melody fragments. You enter the song picker by either pressing the large Song button on the large toolbar or pressing the button with two small notes on the small toolbar. Or you can use a new shortcut typing SS Enter as if you were typing a chord. The SongPicker shows songs in whatever you've designated as the home folder. By default, this is Applications Banana Box My Songs. With the new install of Banana Box 2019, this My Songs folder is created and likely has only one sample song in it. This folder is a blank slate where you can keep your own songs. It's intended for you to put any of your own song files in as many subfolders as you like, as kind of a home base for your own song collection. But of course, you can also choose any other folder you want to be your home folder. For myself, you can see that I've started adding my own songs to various subfolders within the main My Songs folder, some in a Jazz Tunes subfolder that I made, some in a Pop Tunes subfolder that I made, and some in a Song Ideas folder, which is what I've made for myself to keep little song fragments that I'm working on but don't have titles yet. But again, this is meant for you to create your own group of folders and subfolders in a way that makes sense to you. So the home folder is what will be set as the folder you always want to open this dialog to, but you can easily look in other folders as well. For example, I'll choose the Instrumental Studies folder. This is my first time exploring the instrumental studies with the SongPicker, so it first prompts me to rebuild. So now I see the whole list of all instrumental studies. So you can see this is the folder we're currently looking in, but it's not the home folder, which means that if I close this and open it again, it will open again to my home folder, My Songs. But because I recently opened that folder, it's easy to get back with Choose a Previous Song List. And if I'm going to be spending some time here checking these studies out, I can easily make it my home folder by pressing this button. But then later I can also easily change it back to My Songs. As long as you have sorting enabled in the settings, you can sort columns by clicking on the column titles. Since these studies are separated into subfolders with the names of the sets, I'll sort by that. So I can check out some of the newer instrumental studies, maybe this Wacky Country Double Stop Bends. And I'll play a bit. These studies are really cool, taking a short guitar riff and looping it, but having it played over a variety of different progressions. The idea being you could learn the riff with the looping, but also start to develop a sense of different ways you could use the riff. And I'll check this one out, Off the Beat Blues Tones. One thing you'll notice is that any song you click on displays the chords from that song here. For example, these instrumental studies you can see are all short little progressions, but if I scroll up, we can see these ones are longer ones. This is great information to have at your fingertips. The new filters here are incredibly useful. For example, we could narrow this list to show only country studies that are even 16ths based. I'm now going to demonstrate another really cool new feature, searching by song fragment. So I vaguely remember a while back coming up with a melody idea, and I can remember the melody, but I have no idea which of my files it's in, what key it's in, or anything else about it, really. So what I'm going to do is enter the melody I remember in notation here, just in the key of C, and then I'll use the Search Melody Fragment feature in the SongPicker to see if I can find it. So I'll start entering the notes, and I'm going to enter them using a great new notation feature, Easy Entering of Notation with the N key. With this, I can use the left and right arrows to move the vertical line, and then just type N to enter a note at that position, and use the up-down arrows to set the pitch of the note. So I entered a G here. I'll type N to enter a note here, change it to an F sharp using the down key, move right, press N again, make it a G, type N again, and I'll go up to a C. So that's it. Let me just play a little bit of that to hear what that sounds like. I don't even remember if that's the right key, but I know I came up with something that started like that. So now I can go back to the SongPicker. I'll make my songs my home folder again, and I'll filter by songs matching melody. It's automatically inserted the notes I just entered. I don't want to match the key because, as I've said, I don't remember that. I do want the notes to be in order because I do remember that. But the octave doesn't matter. And I entered this on the melody track in that little sample. So it looks like it's found a song for me, just called Folk Pop Melody Fragment. It looks like it's in the key of F, 82 beats per minute, so I'll check that out. And that's exactly what I was looking for. I guessed the key wrong and the melody I entered didn't have the exact right rhythm, but that didn't matter, it found my file anyway. You can also search for chord progressions in a similar manner. You can do it by typing the chords in the song like we did for the melody and having the SongPicker match that, or you can type in a progression right in the SongPicker with Custom Chord Progression Match, which is what I'll do. For this, I'll just type in 3 bars of chords, C, C7, F. And again, I won't specify that I want a particular key. So it looks like it actually found 4 songs that match that progression. So let's check out a couple of them. So the first one here, See You Soon. At the bottom, it now shows the list is filtered by that progression I entered. And then it shows that 2 sections of the song matched that progression at bars 1 and 17. So at bar 1, it starts with C major 7, which is a variation of C major. C9 is a dominant chord, so basically a variation of C7. And F major 7 is a variation of F major. And same thing at bar 17. So that was a really good match and in the correct key. Let's look at another. Gimme 5 is in the key of F, and it found 1 match starting at bar 9. So in the key of C, with my short progression, C is the 1 chord, C7 is 1 dominant, and F is the 4 chord. But this song is in the key of F, and at bar 9, that's F, which is the 1 chord, F7, which is the 1 dominant chord, and B flat, which is the 4 chord. So that most certainly is a match. So I'll now just show you a few other ways to search through your songs with the filters. There's a subfolders filter here. As long as there's not too many subfolders, it shows you the subfolders here. So example, I can quickly filter to show only my song ideas, or my jazz tunes. If, however, I'm looking at a folder that has a lot of subfolders, so right now I'm looking at my entire Applications Band-in-a-Box folder, which has over 10,000 songs in it. If I now go into this filter, we don't get a list of the subfolders because there are over 500. However, I can select this, and now in this list, I do see all available subfolders. And I can pick a subfolder from this list, like RealTracks 319 Demos, Amazing Modern Pedal Steel 2. In addition, there are filters for genre, feel, and time signature. And there are also filters where you can choose songs with melodies or soloists, songs with lyrics, songs in certain keys, and more. In this area is the Open Special area, just to bring up the main open dialog, or other ways to find and open songs. Rebuild is useful if you've made changes to songs in a folder. This button will rebuild the list and update the song data. Action menu has the options. For example, you can make the font larger or smaller. You can play when chosen, so when you pick a song from the list, it will automatically start playing. Enable sorting allowed me to sort by clicking on column headers, as I did earlier in the video. A useful filter button with the hashtag number sign has been added in the RealTracks picker, the RealDrums picker, the best RealTracks dialogues, and the MIDI SuperTracks picker. They allow you to filter the list by many elements, including type, soloist background or chording. This one doesn't apply to RealDrums, of course. Feel, even swing, eighths or sixteenths. Time signature. RealTracks or MIDI SuperTracks numbers in a range. Set numbers in a range. Tempos in a range. RealTracks with direct input available for guitars and basses. RealTracks with simple versions available. RealTracks and RealDrums with real charts available. High Q or high quality notation available for RealTracks, for example, guitar transcriptions with bends, hammer-ons, etc. RealTracks that were recorded in all 12 keys. RealTracks or RealDrums with video available. RealTracks, MIDI SuperTracks, or RealDrums artists, or the main genre of the music, jazz, pop, or country, or combinations of them. We saw this new advanced filter a bit in the plugin portion of the video earlier, but let's try it again here in the RealTracks picker. We'll filter by RealTracks artist Eddie Dunlap. Eddie is a pedal steel and resonator guitar player, and you can see there are 35 options available. Then we'll filter by even sixteenths, which narrows the list further, down to 7 items. And I can see there are some pedal steel RealTracks which I can sample by double-clicking on them. And there's a new Americana resonator guitar from Eddie as well. And we're hearing a sample of the instrument by itself, but we can also hear a sample of it in the context of a band. And it works the same way in the RealDrums picker. Here let's filter by RealDrums artist Alex Acuna. And then I'll add a text filter, perc, to see just styles with percussion in them. And now, like in the RealTracks picker, we can hear samples by double-clicking on them. I'll also use another filter which will lead into another new feature, RealDrums Transcriptions. All of these RealDrums now have transcriptions available on at least one of their variations. So let's have a look at one of them, Funk Half Note Pulse Tambo. And we can see the notation with the drum kit on the top staff clearly labeled, and we even have the percussion on the lower staff as well, with the 16th note tambourine showing up there. So we saw those RealDrums in the RealDrums picker all have real charts available. All MIDI styles also have RealDrums charts available. This Westwood style is one of the new styles from the two Look Ma All MIDI style sets. And you can see that the entire drum and percussion part displays in notation. And drum notation is also available as a new track type on the melody and soloist tracks. This means the user can now enter drum notation as well. Once the track is set, you can right-click to enter drum notes from a list. Or you can just add notes the usual way by clicking on the staff, using the legend at the left as a guide. For example, I'll enter a typical rock groove by putting 8th notes on the ride. Or we saw earlier that you could add single notes by just typing N and using the arrows. So I'll finish off the ride part like that. And I'll add a kick part on 1, and of 2, and 3. And you can tell by looking at the guide that kick is on this space. Snare on 2 and 4. And I'll put a clave rhythm on the cowbell as well. And there you have it. Another new notation feature is that you can change the beat resolution from within the right-click menu. So I'll change the resolution of beat 4 to 5 subdivisions, and I'll delete some of the notes that are there. And I'll enter 5 tom notes for a fill leading to a crash. So let's listen to that now. Some other notation improvements include a spin control for the clef split setting, so you can scroll through notes, whereas previously you had to type in the value. And an asterisk appears on the clef split point if C5 is selected, indicating that that's middle C. You can now force an accidental from the right-click menu, whereas previously you could only do so from the Note Edit dialog, saving an unneeded step. As we saw earlier, there's a new keystroke note entry mode where you can enter melodies very easily with just the N key and the up, down, left, right arrows. You can also add additional notes where there's already a note by pressing the M key, and you can enter rests by typing the R key. I'll demonstrate by quickly entering the melody of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star using the N key in combination with the up, down, left, right arrows. And I can go back and enter additional harmony notes using the M key in the same manner. And you can also enter rests using the R key in the same way, and it gives you the option of putting the rest on the treble clef or bass clef. There are new song titles browser enhancements. We've added 300 more song titles, including requests from users, so there are now over 10,600 titles. I should mention that the song titles browser provides tempo and style information, not the chords or melody to the songs, but that makes it a great tool for narrowing down your search for band-in-a-box styles. A new chord density filter is available in the Other menu. What that means is that if you want to narrow your list to show songs where the chords change frequently, set it to show songs with chords changing every 1 to 4 beats. If you want to narrow your list to show songs where the chords change infrequently, set it to show songs with chords changing every 17 to 99 beats, or options in between. Similar to that is chord complexity, with 1 meaning simple with few chord changes, and 9 or higher means complex with many chord changes. The Melodist now uses RealStyles instead of MIDI styles to generate songs. The Melodist is an amazing feature that's been around for years, and the feature can create unique songs, both chords and melodies. In the past, though, it would create songs with band styles that were all MIDI. But this new feature opens up the option to pair the various Melodist options with RealStyles, styles that use RealTracks. So for example, if I pick Melodist 47, Samba Fast 64-bar Vibes, it previously would have loaded the older MIDI style El Arriba, but now it will by default pair it with this Real style. Another new feature is more extreme transpositions on some RealTracks. This is an internal feature, but has made it possible for us to create exciting new reamped 12-key metal and thrash electric guitar styles, as well as these new very popular low-man styles, emulating the practice of tuning electric guitars very low to get that great growly sound. We've also added a whole bunch of new hotkeys. These are the types of hotkeys that work like entering chords, but have different functions than actually entering chords. For example, the first one in the list, S, to open the style picker, is one that's actually been around for a while. But now following it with a number gives you great different style options. So for example, if I type S9 return, as if I were typing a chord, that loads the demo song for the current style. RT5 opens the Select Best Soloist RealTracks dialog. And this is a great list in the upgrade manual for you to look at. Of course, it would be very difficult to memorize this entire thing, but different people have different functions that they use a lot. So if there's a particular item or two in this list that you use all the time, those would be great ones to learn. And you can also now enter time signature changes in a similar manner by typing it in as if you were typing in a chord. For example, I'll type 3/4, which changes the time signature to 3/4, which is then saved in the bar settings dialog. Incidentally, the music that was playing in the background here is one of the most popular songs from our new artist performance set, which features Celtic flute performances by Jeff Kelly, here duetting with fiddler Daniel Lapp. And they're backed up with RealTracks that include one of the new Celtic cello RealTracks. With Band-in-a-Box 2019 for Mac, the Audio Harmonies feature that was introduced in the previous version now uses the Band-in-a-Box Harmony engine when you select voices above and below. The upshot of this is that when using this feature, the Audio Harmonies are simply going to sound way better. Now, the idea with this is that if you have recorded your own monophonic voice or instrument onto the audio track in Band-in-a-Box, you can use the feature to add audio harmonies to the track. That being said, we have included 3 practice files that you can use to experiment with this cool feature, and they're located in Applications, Band-in-a-Box, Tutorials, Tutorial BB 2019. The vocal ms file is the easier of the 3 to work with, so we'll start with that. This is a short, simple progression, and the audio track contains a monophonic vocal part. It's technically actually 2 voices doubled, but they're singing exactly the same note at any given time, so that still makes it essentially a monophonic part, which is required for this feature. 2 different notes at once is referred to as polyphonic, which does not work with this feature. So we can add a harmony part to this entire thing, and it will use the harmony engine built into Band-in-a-Box, basing the part on the chords that are entered into Band-in-a-Box. We didn't highlight a particular region, so it's going to process the entire audio track. We'll use 2 harmony voices, and one will be above, meaning the second will be below. We could mix them if we wanted, but I'll just leave the mix as is. And with the harmonies added by the Banana Box Harmony engine, it sounds great. Another file that's included is a Brent Mason acoustic guitar solo. Now this one is mostly monophonic, but he plays 2 notes at once in some places. So with this one, you wouldn't just select the whole track, you'd maybe pick a few places to add some tasteful harmony passages, and only places where he isn't already playing more than 1 note at a time. That's why this one I'd consider to be a bit more advanced, as it requires some actual artistic choices for you to make. So if I start listening through, I like the first phrase exactly as is, and the second one, maybe just the second half could get some harmonies added. For this, just 1 extra voice would be good, I think. And maybe for this one, I will mix the harmony voice a little lower. Yeah, I like that. And I'll play through some more and see if there are some other little parts that could get some harmonies added. So we've added a few subtle harmonies to this, so let's listen through some of it from the beginning. So this is a really fun way to add some cool new musical touches to any audio you've recorded. Now I'm going to show you an even more advanced way to use this feature. You can also use this feature on a RealTracks track by creating an audio file of the RealTrack part and putting it on the audio track. There's a third Banana Box file in that tutorial folder, but you'll notice that it does not have an accompanying audio file with the same name. I'll play a bit, and you'll see that one of the RealTracks is this cool, rock, gritty pedal steel solo. This is not on the audio track, so this feature cannot be used on it yet. However, I can save this track as an audio file by control-clicking on the track in the mixer, going to Track Actions, and Save Track as AIFF. I'll give it exactly the same name as the Banana Box SGU file, but of course an AIFF file, not an SGU file. I'll also freeze the pedal steel RealTracks here, so the performance will stay the same and be saved with the song. Now when I press play in Banana Box, you can see this audio track has been added because Banana Box sees that there is an AIFF file with the same name as the SGU, which automatically loads it to the audio track. And it's exactly duplicating what's on the RealTracks pedal steel track. So I'll go back into the audio edit window where I can see this new audio track I created, and I'll go into the harmonizer. Now this time, because I have the original performance on the pedal steel RealTracks track, I'm actually going to turn down the original melody completely, so just the harmony will be written to this audio track. And just for fun, I'll also have it transcribe both the melody and harmony as MIDI tracks, but we won't listen to that MIDI, we can just view it to see what notes are being played. Now, because we have just the harmony on the audio track and the original on the pedal steel track, I can mix them on the fly, including panning them partially left and right. And here now is a harmonized part on the audio track with the original still playing on the pedal steel track. And here we can view the MIDI that we created as well. I hope you enjoy all the fantastic new features in Band in a Box 2019 for Mac. Thanks for watching and have fun.